right now.
Oh my God.
All right. Hi, everyone. This is Isabel Zimmerman, and I have Jenny with me. And right now we are having a conversation. I said, Jenny, this is very spontaneous. Okay, I can't even say that word right now, but whatever. But Jenny and I were texting this morning. Jenny is in Hawaii right now, and I'm in Connecticut. And I said, Jenny, do you mind if we do a quick Zoom call and record this conversation, because we really wanted to share Jenny's story with you all. And so, Jenny, just go ahead and say hello.
Hi. I don't know who I'm just talking to you. So
You're just talking to me, right?
This is my first time doing this, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right. So let me just set you guys up on how I found my soul sister, Jenny. Jenny said she was going on Instagram and she happened to come across my videos on Instagram, and then she signed up for my online psychic course. And that was how I got to know Jenny. And Jenny took the course and we were messaging through the course, and then we messaged. I think I emailed you and then I messaged you and I'm like, hey, Jenny, what's going on? And then we developed a friendship. Okay. I have seen Jenny's growth, and not only did she did the psychic course, she did a session with me where I regressed her. And one of the interesting things, and this is why I'm recording this for everyone, one of the interesting things is when Jenny went under, she understood her parents from a past life are the parents that are in her life now. And her parents in this life are actually really lovely people, religious, controlling, okay, which is typical, right? But her parents in the other life, she was like around 13 years old, and you were considered to be a witch or magical or different, and they murdered her. So Jenny got this awareness that she chose the same entities as new parents now in her life as Jenny. And so it was deep. All right. So let me just catch them up one more thing. So Jenny and I have this awareness that her parents, her current parents now, who are lovely people that live in Chicago, were the ones that murdered her in another life because she was a witch. And on top of it, Jenny has, right, 3 children? Three children, but one of them for sure, Eddie, we know is super special. Like Jenny and I, we talk about Eddie all the time because we know he's like super special.
Yes.
So Jenny, as now, gets protective over Eddie, her son, with her parents because she knows her parents killed her in another life out of fear. So you can only put yourself in Jenny's shoes of this contrast, conflicting hoopla that's going on with her internally. And then on top of it, she's doing a lot of soul work. So she knows she has to forgive her parents. On top of it, being afraid, protective over her child, Eddie, coming to grips that her parents were in so much fear in that life and in this life. So this is so cool. All right, Jenny, you're going to take over the story now that I have set up the stage.
Thank you. You do such a good job of it. I'm like trying to figure out like where I start with that story, because it seems like
it's
so many little events with it, you know?
So many things. Oh, and then one more thing that they need to know. On top of this, everyone, right? I can't even imagine finding out like your parents are the parents from your past that killed you and blah, blah, blah. And you have the son who's magical and la, la, la. But on top of it, Jenny had a brain tumor. and had to
Mm-hmm.
relearn everything.
Literally
So
everything. Yeah.
literally everything, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think this is such an amazing journey and how brave and courageous you are. But
Thank
let's
you.
just start with them because I really want to get to the part that happened today for us. But
Mm-hmm.
let's just start with, I think your first course of action was you knew you had to forgive your parents on a deep level, not be afraid of them, and also speak your truth because you definitely felt the controlling aspects with your family. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
was really, really hard for you to even put a boundary. So can you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about how you did that?
But such a long progression of like inner soul work and like you say, the Scooby-Doo stuff. Like I've done that deep, like trying to figure out like, was there a trauma? Like before I even knew came about the fact that the past life thing, like what's the trauma? Like what is it that doesn't allow me to like be open and like receive their love and give them love? Like why am I so closed off? And like trying to create boundaries, but like getting very um hung up in like the generational like guilt and shame and like everything associated with that, especially like after having kids. And my parents are wonderful people and they're so kind and like everyone, loves them, rightfully so. Like my mom's a very religious, spiritual person. So it was just like this conflict between myself, like what is my perception of them? Because like it didn't match like the reality of everyone else around them. And like I just couldn't like balance that. And um my husband and I moved out to Hawaii from Chicago like in January 2020. It was like a very, very big deal for my family because like we're thousands of miles away from them, and they're everyone in my family is very close, within half hour from everyone else. So this was like a very much like black sheep, like why would they be doing something like that? And it was so heavy for me, like I went through so much to be able to get here. And like I remember being just so like resistant about it till Fritz. And I just couldn't imagine a world of us being here because like it didn't match like these rules that and beliefs that I had in my family. And like it's all I knew because like that's what everyone does. We all stay within a certain amount of time, and like then I'm not good enough. I'm a bad daughter. I'm all of these things. So they could pause the doggies. They're hearing the story and they're getting mad too. But yeah, just being able to like take that step here. I don't feel like I was able to like actually have that like detachment, from parents and family at the stage that most people do. So it happened later and like now in life. And um I couldn't like focus on like building a life here with my husband and my family because like it just didn't match with my parents' perspective and what they wanted our life to be like.
So
And
let's
go
just
ahead.
talk about that because I think a
Mhm,
lot of people can relate to this. So your
mhm.
parents are very close knit and they
Yeah.
actually helped you heal from your trauma of your brain injury, right? Of
Yeah.
your tumor,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
So they're very all in kind of people. So
Oh
for
yeah.
you to separate from the herd, from the clan, from the family, felt
Hmm.
very weird and different that you would even move away from your family.
Yeah.
But you knew because you shared a story with me when you woke up, you had to go. You
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew like I had this like spiritual awakening that basically was like telling me to follow Fritz's dream to come to Hawaii and that it was okay and it's what I needed to do. And like since I've been here, like the level of like personal growth and expansion has been monumental. I mean, you know, I've texted you at my worst, at like my best, the whole like journey and the way to where I'm at right now. But um yeah, so like I knew that I had to come here. So I had to follow it because something told me you do need to come here. And I'm like, I even asked you, like, why am I here? Am I in the right spot? Because I kept feeling like my parents' sadness and like having like empathic, you know, abilities. It's so hard to separate, you know, yourself from it. And like it just it owned me. And so just like this progression of being okay with being here, it's happened magically, literally magically, where all of a sudden they were okay with it. I'm assuming that it was just because my, you know, perception of things changed, shifted and changed. And um, I was able to look at them from a love higher consciousness versus like whatever limiting beliefs that were clouding my vision. And like I remember thinking to myself, like, I just want a video camera of the reality, like the day before to now. Like, what happened? It's still hard for me to wrap my mind around that it was actually me that changed this like perspective to make like an unconditional love kind of situation. I'm still like, I don't know if it's unconditional, like from, you know, back all of
Yeah.
my limiting beliefs from before, but
So let me break it down for them so they can understand this. So Jenny was going through ups and downs, and she would communicate to her mom and dad because she
yeah.
felt the controlling. So she actually voiced her pain from to her mom and dad. Now, I did read this text because Jenny sent them to me.
And I have to because I feel like I couldn't explain it. You need to see this is what's happening to me. What do I do with this? You know, I
Yeah,
don't, is this real life?
yeah. And her dad was just hurt. Like her mom and dad were just hurt. They were like, we don't know where this is coming from. We don't understand. We just love you. Why are you cutting us out of your life? They
Yeah.
were just really, really hurt. There was a few controlling things in those emails, but
Hmm.
that's to be expected, I would think.
Yeah.
But Jenny, what you did really well was you still voiced how you felt. And I think that was your first time really voicing how you felt to your parents because you were playing such the role of the daughter
Hmm.
or the woman that needed help or whatever you were, the role for
The
them,
victim.
the
Like I
victim.
needed to, couldn't be an adult without them, you know, telling me what was the right thing to do. Like I didn't
Yeah,
even know what I wanted because that was a normal, you know, that was just how it worked.
yeah. And so when Jenny did her soul work, now look, guys, soul work is personal for everyone. And Jenny has been working really hard on soul work. So she had to face her emotions. She had to voice her emotions to her parents, even though they didn't understand it, or even
Mhm,
if she didn't understand it. She had to allow herself space to
mhm.
integrate the understanding her childhood and understanding her past life because she knew that came into play. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, life continues. Meanwhile, you're still a mom of three, you're still in Hawaii, there's still Mother's Day happening,
Yes.
there's Easter's happening, there's a lot of
Yeah.
things still happening. So it's not like, Earth goes on pause while Jenny figures out her soul work.
Mm. No.
You're figuring out the soul work. But what happened was there was a shift where you were able to release and forgive your parents, not only from this lifetime, but from the other lifetime,
Mhm.
because you understood it and you were no longer judging it and you accepted it because you
Mhm.
started to accept who you are, who your abilities, your
Yeah.
energy field. on your self-worth rose. So it's always a multi-pronged approach. It wasn't that one thing shifted Jenny. It was a series of things that shifted Jenny.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is, so she texted me this morning, and it was just a small text. And if you guys saw it, it would be so delicate, I would say, because now her parents, who were not happy that Jenny moved away from the clan, is all of
Hmm.
a sudden happy for Jenny and her family
Hmm.
buying a new house in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so
Crazy.
I started crying
Yeah.
for first thing in the morning for me, middle of the night for Jenny. I started crying, and I asked my team on the other side, I said, why am I, like, I couldn't stop crying. And they said, these are tears of rejoice, because I felt it energetically that Jenny had transmuted something very old. Like, it felt cryptic. It felt like there was a lot of dust on it, and it was thick, and it was heavy. And
Hmm.
all of a sudden it's gone and lifted.
Yeah. Yeah. The feeling is, I can't even describe it. It's so much lighter. Like, it's so freeing because like I could feel like I could just be open and like authentic and like I don't have to put everything that I'm gonna say through a filter because I could just say things through love without like fearing that like in return I'm gonna get disapproval or
Yeah.
some shame or like mean comments or anything like that.
Yeah.
I can't even describe like the energy shift. It's seriously like a miracle. Like I really view I'm trying to think like I've been trying to like harness more of like the things that I learned in your course and like asking like we've talked about like a non-physical team or like giving permission to like give me signs and things
Yes.
like that. And I feel like I'm trying to think back like did I say something around that time? I'm sure that I did because I've been in that space lately, like just trying to like surrender and be open to like the path and the journey and let things sort of unfold as they're supposed to versus like trying to like control every little aspect of everything. And
Yeah. So
yeah.
you're in the flow. So your
Hmm.
level of beliefs have really increased in the sense that you have a non-physical team. Like now you have an inner being, and you're
Hmm.
connecting with that inner being, and you're
Yeah.
connecting with your team, and you see Eddie, your child, totally aware of the unseen.
Yeah.
He's totally aware of that realm.
Yeah.
Like, he gets
Completely.
it.
Yeah.
Like, he knows it, you
And
know?
he's like a beautiful soul who like loves Jesus, he loves Buddha, everything. So it's like
Hmm.
it's so great to see like in a 4-year-old because you're like that's that there's something else that he's
Yeah.
gifted with right now because
Yeah.
for him to have that awareness and be able to like tell me things like that is it's such a gift.
Yeah. And then you're awakened, and
Yeah.
you I just want to let everyone know Jenny does a lot of soul work. Like, Jenny is watching videos on Prime around this stuff. She's sending me the new audio book from Oprah, which I started to listen to.
Hmm.
We talk about a lot of spiritual stuff, and you find, like you said, hey, what's up with the serpent? And I'm like, oh yeah, the serpent rebirth, that's Isis. And yeah, we have galactic DNA. And you're like, oh my god, I was just reading something about this, around the
Yeah.
galactic DNA.
Yeah.
And
How
yeah, so
connected we are is crazy. Like I feel like every time something nudges me like I need to let you know about it or
yeah.
if you're having like a group channeling
Yeah.
something that you ask or some is literally exactly what I need answered at that moment. It's so
It
cool.
is. Yeah. And so how that happens is that we're part of the same soul family. And so our family is working on the other side. Our spirits and
Hmm.
guides are guiding each of us and helping us. Because one of the things that Jenny and I, we first started talking, and I think it was your husband that said he's like, I really see you doing a TED talk.
I knew you were
And
just gonna say that because I'm like, no
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Don't do it.
yeah. And it's
Yeah,
like, and now I feel like, yeah, I feel like that's closer. I feel like
yeah,
that's closer. I don't feel like that's like not even a possibility or it's a possibility in the far future. Now I feel like, yeah, Jenny's awakening. Jenny's becoming more confident. Jenny's more in tune with her psychic abilities and opening and,
yeah.
skyrocketing. And now that you've released this old energetic pattern of being judged for being psychic
Mhm.
and, you know, really releasing that and forgiving them and
Mhm.
loving them,
Yeah, it makes me
that's
wanna cry.
huge. I know. It's so huge because that story, the fear around the non-physical, like, it's so funny if you think about like the fear around the fairy folk, like people
Mhm,
were afraid of fairies or the changelings, and they would have these
mhm.
stories, or
Yeah,
trolls hid underneath the bridge and you could get eaten, right?
yeah.
Or if you're a psychic or a witch, God will smite you.
Mhm.
That's, you're doing devil's work. And like
Right.
those stories are in our collective fabric, you
Yeah.
know,
And my
that,
mom still tells me about that. Like, she still will say things about,
yeah,
this kind of stuff, or like Buddha, he doesn't like
yeah,
I don't even know, but just specific things from the Bible that like never really made sense to me. And
yeah,
now like I get more and more why didn't those make sense to me? Like I didn't have the forethought to like look deeper until like literally the sign they had to give me was a brain tumor to remove like my frontal lobe from all of the like thoughts and like beliefs that I had there to create new ones. It's like
yep,
I'm seriously grateful for my brain tumor because it brought me to this place of having to relearn all of these like life skills and like beliefs that I thought were the only way things should be. I had
yeah,
to like
yeah,
be at the bottom and kind of figure it out from, like a child would literally. And it was
yeah,
so helpful because it
yeah,
just like got rid of everything else and just allowed me to have to like explore and be curious. And I just wanted to know more and more and more. And I still do. And this is literally like one topic that I feel like I can speak on with other people because I've enough framework and information on it that I don't usually have with other topics. So it's really cool. Like it's a cool feeling because it's like to me it's like you kind of figure out like why you're here, what your purpose is, because like
mm-hmm,
I like don't want to stop learning, like I want to know more and I want to like find that, kind of like how I stumbled upon you. Like I want to learn more. I want to check this out. Like I want to learn more about magic and everything
yeah,
like that. And you just follow it. And there's these little like breadcrumbs that get me to that like aha moment of, oh, this is
y-
how it really is. And I've just been like, believing everything else that people are telling me around me versus like having like responsibility for my own life and creating my own beliefs from
yeah,
things that I'm learning.
yeah. I think when I first started examining my own beliefs, I think I actually wrote this down as an exercise. I don't know, maybe it is in the psychic course. I can't remember. But anyways, write how many beliefs are told to you and how many you've experienced. And you will see your told list is so long, so
Yeah,
long.
yeah,
But your experienced ones,
yeah.
I, not that many. I mean, there's some,
Mm-mm.
don't get me wrong, but it's like most of your fears and beliefs are from being told. And
Yeah.
most humans don't understand, like, if somebody is homeless, penniless, or whatever because they didn't save for a rainy day, what a lot of humans don't understand is that was a pre-birth intention. That was by design. That
Yeah.
was their vibration and experience. That doesn't mean you will have the same experience if you do the exact same things this person did, because
Right.
you're a unique expression. But
Hmm.
everyone is in, because we're in polarity and duality and cause and effect. So they say, well, if I don't save for a rainy day, then I will not have money. And so because you believe that, well, then the universe has to show you that, has to
Hmm.
provide that. Like,
Yeah.
that's law of attraction. But a lot of people are, because they don't understand the mechanism of it, that's why those told beliefs, they adopt them as their own. So yes, your team literally had to get rid of your frontal lobe so that you can learn new
That's
beliefs.
dramatic, isn't it? That's
Right, but
amazing.
I'm sure that was preordained. I'm sure that was not by accident, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it, yeah, not by accident. Definitely something that I needed to go through to get to this place. If I
Yeah.
didn't go through that, I don't know that I would be at this place right now.
No, most likely not. But or they would have gotten you to a
Or I'd have
different
taken a
way.
really long road, even though I usually do pick the long road, but you
Yeah.
know, it would have taken a while.
Well, I think because you had Eddie, I think
Hmm.
it had to be accelerated.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I had to understand this and like be open to that's a really good point because not it's not like I didn't believe in God or anything like that before. I just didn't understand. I didn't know what to believe. And like I was just like brought up Catholic and it just like never resonated with me. Like I couldn't I think I'm just a more literal person, so
Hmm.
I wasn't able to like think of things symbolically, so it didn't make any sense. So it just sounded like a foreign language to me. So I probably wouldn't have been able to like be supportive of his
Yeah.
light and his journey too that I
Yeah.
am now.
Well, and it's interesting the fact that you awoken and you shifted and you released that, you know, you chose that love frequency because you could have easily been like your parents judging Eddie
Mhm.
like they judged you
Exactly.
in that other life.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe not outwardly, but I I could see that, like, me just, like, having that, um, uncertainty and, like, disbelief of someone having qualities like that, and
Hmm.
now, like, I have no disbelief, like, I
Yeah.
completely believe in his process and his journey, and it's amazing. I'm so, like, happy to have gotten to this place so that I could support him, the best way I can. I don't think I know how quite yet, but little by little I'm learning and it's awesome.
You are. And I think he's an amazing little person,
Yeah.
and he's figuring it all out in
Yeah.
this
And
world.
scary in the same respect too, because like I see him putting together the cause and effect stuff now, at his like developmental stage. And I'm like, thinking from lots of steps forward. Like, I don't want him to start doing that, like, don't lose your magic. Like, don't
Yeah.
do cause and effect because of what you're hearing. And I just have to like understand it's kind of part of his process. And, you
Well,
know,
it is part of his process. You can show cause and effect, but you can also think spherical. Like, I would totally get jigsaw puzzles for him.
yeah.
So yeah, because jigsaw puzzles is a visual representation of putting pieces together, but it's not
Hmm.
putting pieces together sequentially. You don't
Hmm.
start off with piece one and then you look for piece two.
Yeah. Right. I'm terrible at jigsaw. I wouldn't be able to do it with him. I'm awful at it, but Fritz is good, so that at
You could,
least you
yeah,
get some for him.
you start off small. You start off with 25 or a 10-piece one. You don't have to go crazy. You
The
don't need the
wooden ones.
5,000.
No.
But yeah, but
Yeah.
jigsaw puzzles is really good. And then, Saint Germain just worked with me over and over and over for like 3 months. And every time I went linear, he would just like swoop right in and he would be like, no, 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 spherical. Think energetically. Don't think of matter. The matter is the outcome of energy. You're focused on the outcome of that energy. Think energetically.
Yeah.
Think one step ahead or prior in
Hmm.
in my human mind. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I appreciate you because you're able to like give me like the scientific view of things too, because you think that way, and like a
Yeah.
visual of this is like the gap that's, will close the gap here for you.
Yeah.
And you always know exactly what to send me. And I'm just like, yes, I need to know that right there. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Oh, you're so welcome. I think so. I'm just so thrilled that you released this energetic pattern of somebody not understanding or seeing who you truly are and still, and it doesn't matter because you love them. I mean, that's really what you did. You accepted them not understanding or seeing you to the point of killing you in that other life because you were
Hmm.
so different, and you forgave them and loved them. It's sort of almost like, I'll tell you what you did. You almost did just what Yeshua did. When Yeshua loved the Roman soldiers that were literally physically killing his body, he loved them.
Hmm.
And that's hard.
Yeah.
I mean, can you love somebody who's actually killing you?
Yeah, it is hard. And like over the journey, like I can see that like I love them unconditionally regardless. I didn't even know of these like judgments and like things that were going on in the background. And like once I let it go, I feel that difference between those not being there anymore. And like where I'm at now is actually unconditional love, because before was like still obviously just being caught in the loop of they don't, approve of what I'm doing, like I'm not a good daughter, all of those, filters that I was running through. And now like I feel like I'm meeting them where they're at and like just more confident in who I am and why I'm where I am right now. And like being able to like process it through my filter that I've created for myself now. And it's
Yeah,
like awesome, the best.
it is the best. Well, we're going to wrap up the call. We just wanted to share this story with all of you listening.
Mm.
And soul work is really worth it. It's really worth it.
So worth it.
So,
So is
so
magic and all of that. Like I feel like that's such a large part of it too. And you don't really, focus on it until you get into it and start trying it. And you're like, wow, this is the universe is amazing. All of these signs and
it is. And so you did the magic inside. You changed your inner world, and the outer world reflected it back.
yes.
Instead of trying to control that outer world to change how you feel inside, that
Mhm.
would never work.
Right.
And a lot of people don't even understand that. A lot of people think like, oh, if they only acted, behaved, or be different, or if
Mhm.
I acted or behaved or did be different, out, controlling my outside, controlling their outside, then I would feel different inside. But
Yeah.
it's very counterintuitive. It's inside first, then out.
Yeah. I was just thinking something about that I was gonna say. I remember like with Fritz, I would ask him like why do you love me? Like, I would want reasons as to why, because I do this, do this, do this. I just thought about this like the other day, that I would be
Mm,
like, he must not, actually love me because he can't tell me on the spot all of these reasons why he loves me. And then, like, I realized that there doesn't need to be like reasons why and like specific answers to it, which I was probably, used to that and programmed, like, you do this, you do that, and like that's love. And then I finally realized, like, because you just do, because you just choose to love people. And when you're able to like just let go of all that shame and guilt and heaviness, like, you're allow yourself to do that, and everything kind of comes full circle then in a positive way.
yeah. Yeah. And it is so interesting because we will, Hallmark cards or list will ask, like, so why do you love me? You know,
Right.
why do you
Yeah.
love me? And you want that validation. But once
Yeah.
you understand that Fritz loves you unconditionally, like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what you do, how you behave, how you act, how you look,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And so I'm just going to share. So Jenny and I share something in common. We are not the thinnest human beings on the planet, and we're very voluptuous. And
Yeah.
I can totally relate with Jenny. And Jenny will be like, because Fritz, her husband, finds her so sexy. And when I look at Jenny, I'm like, oh my God, you're a sex goddess. You're fucking voluptuous and fantastic. And Jenny's like, oh, if only I could lose 20 pounds or 10 pounds or whatever that number is, right? And I'm like, but Jenny, it doesn't matter because you
Yeah.
are gorgeous. You are gorgeous now in this moment, in this second. You are gorgeous. And I'm sure when Fritz looks at you, you can even see it in his eyes how sexy he finds you, but you
Yeah.
don't feel sexy. So there's a
Right.
discrepancy, right?
Hmm.
And that's that
That's my
inner
next
world.
limiting belief to focus on.
Yeah. You're gonna have to like,
Yeah.
bring in
I
your
need to
sex
have that
goddess.
aha moment of that.
Well, body image is a common fear for a lot of us. And
Hmm.
lack, we all came here, whether it's lack of love, lack of time, lack of money, lack of health, we've all
Yeah.
experienced lack and loss, right? We've all
Yeah.
experienced loss. So beauty is really inner beauty because again, your body is the outcome of your energy.
Yeah. That's mind blowing.
Yeah. And so soften the idea of what form it needs to be.
Yeah, that's so helpful.
Just
You taught me
soften
that
it.
a little while ago, and that's
Yeah,
been
just
helpful.
and one of the things that the non-physical team would always say to me is Mae West. So I
Yeah.
actually looked at her and I think she is very attractive and pretty, but men just would throw themselves at her feet. And she's
Hmm.
again, I'm not saying Mae West is not attractive, but she's not like Greta Garbo or whatever women of her
Yeah.
time, right?
Hmm.
She was older, she had a tummy, she had boobs, she had an ass.
Right.
Um, but it wasn't how she looked, it was her energy.
Yeah.
And so it's true. And we've all experienced that. We've all experienced somebody, let's say the human specimen looking person, whether it's a
Hmm.
guy or girl, like they're really good looking. They've got like everything ticked off for being a handsome
Right.
human or beautiful girl.
Right.
And then you go up to them and you're like, wow, okay, okay, look pretty, but I can't talk to you. Right.
Right. Right. Right.
And
There's no
then you
connection.
then you can meet somebody that looks like Ichabod Crane. Seriously. And there's
Yeah.
something about him, and you're like, oh my God, I just have to be near you.
Yeah. So true. The vibration, the match
It's
and
it's
connection is.
it's all vibration. And so then I'm like, really, Isabel Zimmerman, you're going to criticize your form because you're not in a perfect magazine uh, ideal in your mind? Seriously?
Right.
And then I'm like, huh, beauty is really inside anyways. But
Yeah.
it's all that programming. And
Mhm.
I totally get it because my mom would always criticize me on my weight and all of
Mhm.
that. So I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's
And
my
I'm
next
still,
journey work.
me too. I'm still working through it. And
It'll
I
be an
think,
ongoing process.
yeah. And it's funny, I'll tell you this and then we'll wrap it up for them. But on my Facebook feed is I'm getting a lot of plus size images of women in bathing suits.
Mhm.
And Jenny, I actually look at these pictures of these women and I find them beautiful, like
Yeah,
beautiful. And
for
then
sure.
I saw a thinner woman and I went, huh, interesting. Like I didn't find her unattractive, but I didn't find her like, oh, that's how I want to be. That's how I want to look.
Right. Right.
Right? Something had
Mhm.
shifted inside of me where I went, she's beautiful for where she is, but these women who are very voluptuous, there is just something magical about them now. And of course, it's my perception, don't get me wrong, but I'm just so happy I finally got there.
Yeah, totally, and it's like the confidence too that they radiate is part of the vibration, like, being able to
Yeah.
be authentic and out there and
Yeah.
beautiful inside and outside is that's a place to, like, get to.
Yeah. And then, of course, I studied human history. And I would say to you, women with extra weight was really coveted for a very, very long time because
Yeah,
that meant you had wealth, you had power. If you were really
really.
thin, oh, yeah, if you were thin, you were scraggly, you were lesser
Huh.
because you didn't have the wealth for the food and
Ah,
you didn't that's why women's hands had to be soft because if you had callus you were a working woman.
ah, gotcha. That makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
in that perspective, right?
Yeah. So anyways, but thank you, Jenny, so much
Thank
for
you.
coming and sharing your experience. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it, and until
yeah.
next time, guys, bye.
Bye.